He is Cedric Golden, a very famous writer for the Austin American-Statesman. This is called Buy or Sell. It's not about crypto or flipping houses. There are 5 buy or sell statements made. You either agree or disagree, meaning you either buy or you sell.
2 media legends, 5 topics, and a moment of jackassery. This is Buy or Sell. That's buy or freaking sell.
All right, here we go. Buy or sell number 1. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers will pivot to declare for the NFL draft after the Final Four. Buy or sell?
I'm going to sell, but I'm going to hold on to the memories.
Oh, no, man. You're not. Don't do that. That's not happening. Oh, no.
That's my era, man. Oh,
I bet you sucked face, too, to that song.
Oh, man, I'm sure I did, but I never owned the members-only jacket, I don't think.
I'm sorry about that. I did. I'd love to lie and say I didn't, but I did.
I still got beat up a couple of times, but no, anyway. I'm going to sell on Quinn because he's gotten hurt 2 years in a row, and that's 2 straight years he's missed significant action. He lights up Washington and all bets are off.
Okay.
But if he has a regular game and they win, I think he still comes back because I think he can improve his draft stock. So many good quarterbacks coming out of this class. Drake May from North Carolina, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, just to name a few. And he was a top 10 overall mock draft selection before the season. He's fallen out of the first round. So if he's just ready to get out of college and prove himself, then he'll leave. But here's the thing. If they have the fairy tale and he throws for 350 yards and all the scouts see it and he shows that great arm talent, maybe he will buy into that hype and leave. But since for the purposes of this discussion on December 8th, almost a month before the game, I'm going to sell, and I think Quinn comes back.
Weren't you the guy that had him losing his starting job to Arch Manning not long ago?
If he came back.
Okay.
If he comes back.
Let's assume he's coming back. The
question didn't say he comes back to Texas. He just comes back to play college football. I think he may go somewhere else.
Okay. Wow. How does that go down? I don't know that I disagree with you. I hadn't thought of it yet, but I don't know that I completely disagree with you. I'm not going to say it wouldn't even be the wrong decision, but that would be fascinating. So that means somewhere along the way, let's play this out. So I think they got a bad draw, but I think they get beat by Washington just because I don't trust the Texas secondary, and I think that Michael Penix Jr. is going to light up Texas. But it's entirely possible, to use your example, it's entirely possible Quinn Ewers lights up Washington, and it's a 52-48 game or something, and he puts up crazy good numbers. You're saying he sits down with his coach and says, I don't think I'm going to be a first rounder, but I need to prove that I'm healthy, and I got game in me. And then Steve Sarkisian interrupts him and says, I know you're going to come back, but I wouldn't do it here because you're not going to get your job back. That's what you think is going to happen?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you, this is why I'm saying this. So the Oklahoma State Texas game's a blowout.
Yeah.
And I've got a tight deadline. So I'm not really watching in the fourth quarter. I'm writing. I'm trying to get my column in. And I hear this big roar go up. And I was like, did Michael Jackson just walk in? I don't know what happened. And I looked up and Arch Manning is behind center. It was the biggest roar.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bigger than 4th and 5 at the Rose Bowl. They love this kid. And they see him as the savior. They see him as the future. Malik Willis doesn't get that kind of love from these fans. And Quinn doesn't get this kind of love from the fans. So I think if he came back, I know that Arch Manning didn't come here to sit 2 years, Jeff.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't. He didn't. I
got to tell you, I've never, I can't think of an example in which a quarterback, Texas or otherwise, leads their team to the Final Four, might even get to the final, and then ends up not getting their job back the next year and is playing elsewhere. It would be a fascinating move. I don't know how across from the coach's desk, I can't see how that conversation can happen. I mean, I don't know who dictates the terms. Does Sarkisian say to him, look, you took this program to somewhere it hasn't been since 2005. Thanks a lot. I got to shoot straight with you, though, bud. You're probably not going to get your job back, so I'd look to go somewhere else. Oh, okay, coach. So I put a trophy in the case. I lit up the number 2 seed, and I need to go play somewhere else.
And let me tell you something. I'm not saying Sarkisian says that to Quinn. He's just going to say, man, you're going to have to win this job.
Oh, okay.
You won the champ. Even if you got him to the finals or won a championship, the kid behind you, if the kid behind you is playing that great, and it's a good problem for a coach to have, but in the world we live in now with NIL and the portal and people signing big checks for named talent, Matt Rule says it costs you $2 million for a good quarterback. Why would I stay if I don't know that I'm going to start next year?
Yeah, no, I get that. Wow. I'm a big believer in whoever has the hot hand, whichever pitcher is on a roll. You go strike out 2 dudes and throw a ground ball on the next one. I don't pull you. I've never heard of a situation in which a guy would lose his gig playing in the Final Four, but I will sell that he declares for the NFL draft because I assume there's enough knowledge around him to say, but you would only be the 6th or 7th quarterback, maybe not that low, but probably the 6th quarterback off the board come NFL time. So, yeah, for the sake of the statement, I'm selling it too.
Buy or freaking sell.
3 of the 4 AFC East coaches will not return next year. Buy or sell.
I'm going to sell. We know Mike McDaniel for the Miami Dolphins is safe. They're the number 1 seed. I think that the GQ Natalie attired Bill Belichick is out.
Okay.
He's going to go coach the Chargers. I see that coming.
Oh.
That's a great move for him. A quarterback in Justin Herbert that can return him to relevancy. Sean McDermott of the Bills, got to go. He's as good as gone. They've underachieved. They've got the Chiefs, Cowboys, and Dolphins down the stretch. Do you think he survives that gauntlet? No way.
No.
I think Robert Saleh of the Jets is going to come back. It's not his fault that Aaron Rodgers blew out his Achilles. It's not his fault that the organization drafted Zach Wilson to be the quarterback. And so I think he may actually stick around. I believe he has the respect in that locker room. There are some building blocks with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Quinnen Williams and Quincy Williams. They have some talent. But what's that defensive back's name? God, I can't even remember. Sauce Gardner.
Yep.
Sauce Gardner is on that team. So he's got some nice weaponry, some building blocks, and he got a bad hand this year. I think Saleh comes back. So you're right. You're right on Belichick and McDermott and McDaniel coming back. But I think Saleh's going to get the benefit of a doubt, and I think he's going to get another year with the Jets. Jets. I'm selling.
I'm going to buy, although those are good points. First of all, you know about the Sean McDermott. I just got finished ranting on this guy. He went 9-11 on his team, right? You heard about that, where he used
What an idiot.
I mean, that's what was shot.
What are you doing? Do you want to lose your job? Quit talking about terrorists communicating well. They're terrorists.
You lose your job. How about get tased and get your ass kicked, kind of thing?
Oh my God! I can't believe you said.
I know it's unbelievable. So I'm with you. They're just a mess, and they have no excuses. So that one's done. The homeless guy with the shopping cart, the bad shirt and hair, he's done. I go back and forth on whether if I were a team with a young quarterback, if I'm the Bills, if I'm the Chargers, if I'm the Bears, I don't know that I hire Bill Belichick. I just.
He's 71.
I know, and it feels like it, and it sounds like it, and it looks like it, man. It's just something about that guy.
There's nothing wrong with old people.
Well, yeah, at least they comb their hair and wash their clothes typically. The guys
He showed a pulse last night against the Steelers.
I know. I don't know that I would do it. I really don't, to be honest. And I think for all you said about Robert Saleh and how it's, the organization is, really the organization was dumb in letting Aaron Rodgers dictate the terms, because every suggestion and every hire that he's gotten there has backfired on them. The whole Aaron Rodgers experiment has backfired on them far more than just his Achilles. The owner's a moron. I'm going to guess you're right. It's not Robert Saleh's fault, but I feel like it's such a dumpster fire. He gets caught up in that, and the crazy owner does a crazy owner thing and whacks him too. Either way, the division is just turned into complete trash.
Buy or freaking sell.
LeBron James is underappreciated and should be considered the best player ever. Buy or sell?
I sell. He's the best flopper ever.
Jeez.
And he does a good job with that top topics that you put on your hair, over your bald spot. He does a good job with that.
Does he do that really?
We got a close-up view of him last night, me and my cousin, and my cousin goes, he's got that topic stuff. I think he does.
What does that mean? Like he just put some dark ink on the top of his head?
Powder. It's like a powder.
And it stays?
Yeah, it's like a powder. TV guys use it all the time.
I didn't know that.
LeBron James has the best stats of all time, but he's not the best player ever. Michael Jordan is the best player ever. And you know who gets overlooked, Jeff Ward, in these conversations, unfairly so? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I know.
Should be considered top 2 or 3. He won at every single level.
Yeah, I know.
High school, college, pro, I think 5 MVP.
But think about in your life, even when they were on their great runs, he was the third person ever mentioned, even on the Lakers. It's just, in my lifetime, it's not until you step back and say, hey, think about all this stuff he's done. He's sort of had a LeBron-like career. The guy was a rock star when he was a teenager and then went on to win and play forever at every single level. It's just that the way he plays, the way he conducted himself, he's never top of mind. And that's not right, but he's just never top of mind.
And he revolutionized the game with the most unstoppable weapon in the history of sports.
Absolutely. No doubt.
So he always gets overlooked. I think LeBron James is a top 5 player of all time. His numbers bear it out. He's still great at 38, but he didn't go 6-0 in the finals. He didn't. And he quit against the Mavericks in 2011. I covered some of that series. He quit during that series, and I just think that he duped the refs into teeing up Draymond Green and getting him suspended. He wouldn't have gotten another ring there. So I think LeBron James is a great player. He's one of the best big guards to ever play. But I don't put him in the same class with Michael Jordan. Great talent, but Michael Jordan was one thing that I don't think LeBron James has ever been, and that's a killer.
Yeah, I'll try to disagree with you. I'm selling it as I'm selling part of this. I'm going to sell that he's the best player ever. But I do think he's underappreciated. I do. And I wonder if we're not two old guys who are never going to get away from what we saw with Michael Jordan, right? We can't unsee that. A game where every finals, every crucial moment, you and I, and every human being watching said, watch this, watch what he just does right now. He's about to close this game out. So we can't get away from that ever. So I wonder if it's an age thing. I wonder if you had somebody that's 32 and you said, hey, look, you know of Jordan, right? Oh, yeah, watch the documentary. Well, who would you say is the best ever? Would a bunch of 32-year-olds say LeBron James?
Probably. Let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this. How would LeBron James have fared against a bad boy Pistons?
No, it wouldn't. But see, that's another thing that I think is.
They would have crushed him.
Oh, they would have crushed him. I know. I mean, this is actually. First of all, I want to say this about LeBron James. He has been a rock star since he was a teenager in a time period media-wise that is the most difficult time to be a rock star. Right? The guy is genuinely respected. He genuinely handles himself well. He is fit. He is healthy. He is a righteous dude. And I'm going to say that. He really is. I'm going to say that about him. In a time in which every moment of any star's movement, we get to see it good and bad. You don't hear bad stuff. He doesn't do stupid stuff. He is. It's pretty admirable, really. I mean, if Michael Jordan lived in this time, the public would hate him.
God.
The public would hate his guts because he was a jackass.
They almost got him back then with the gambling.
Yeah. He was a bad guy. I mean, so they're completely different eras, socially, media-wise, and I agree with you. They're completely different. The game is completely different. So, I mean, I don't even know if it's fair to compare the two because it's almost unfair to LeBron James to say, you know, dude, if you would have played back then where they punched you in the face all the time, and you'd say, well, I don't play in a time like that. What are you going to do to me? Why are you punishing me because I wasn't around to play the Pistons? So I kind of think that we sound like get off my lawn guys when we do that because it's just a different. It's just a different time. It's just a completely different sport that Michael Jordan played versus Steph Curry and LeBron James.
And LeBron would have been an all-star in that era.
Yeah,
it just would have been a lot tougher for him than it is in this one.
I don't think. I guess maybe because we have perspective, and you come from the media business. I don't think we have perspective on how amazing it is LeBron James has operated in his career. You know what? I mean, it's hard to be that famous and not be dumb at times.
And and there's nothing on LeBron.
Nothing.
He has been a tremendous role model. He's done more for poor people. You know what? Michael Jordan was not a good husband.
No.
At times was not a good teammate. And if you watched his Hall of Fame speech, it was a nightmare. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're a butthole, MJ. What are you doing? Yeah. I mean, that's who he was, though. Yeah. And it was kind of sad that he wasn't good at anything else but basketball.
Yeah, but you're right, though. I mean, the difference between those two guys, for all the talent LeBron has, and it's a freakish talent. Jordan was just a killer, man. The dude would cut your heart out. He'd cut out his teammates' heart out. He'd cut out any wives that he had. He would cut their hearts out, too. He was just a killer.
Buy or freaking sell.
Load up on the Cowboys at -3.5 and the over at 51.5 against the Eagles. Buy or sell.
Oh my God, we're about to go Robert Downey Jr. in less than zero.
Jeez, where did that come from? So you've had a Richard Marx song you've done, and now you've gone less than zero. Okay,
great drug movie. Yeah. Just a great drug movie. Golly, I'm gonna have to sell that one, and I know we've been token up here the last few weeks. I like the Cowboys -3.5, and I would load up on that. But I don't think this game is going to be as high scoring as one might think. I feel a 24-20 type game. So I'm horrible at over-unders, just horrible at them. That's a coin flip, and I'm bad at it. I say load up at the Cowboys at 3.5, but I'm not going to smoke that crack rock on the over. We know the Eagles aren't the same team they were a month ago. They were lucky to beat the Bills, a 59-yard field goal in the rain to force overtime, and I think Dallas takes big advantage this week. They're playing as well as any offense in the league right now. That defense, that secondary is a little questionable. We know Jalen Hurts isn't 100%, and the Eagles have not been good lately. I think they're ripe for the taking. The Cowboys could have beaten them in Philly, but I really believe that Dallas is going to take advantage and forge a tie atop the NFC East. I'm selling that parlay, but I would load up on that 3.5 I think Dallas wins like 24-20.
Yeah. I hate to agree across the board because according to you, I'm a Dallas Cowboys face painter who also smokes the Cowboys crack. I sell it too because the whole NFL trend. I think this is easy. Smart bettors, money guys are not dumb ever, but I think this is getting caught up in a couple things. One, the fact that they're just on fire at home. Yeah, but they're on fire at home against trash teams. So I'd be careful of that one. The other part is the trend in the NFL is under. And these two teams are going to be desperate. I don't see Dallas lighting them up. I don't see Philadelphia lighting up Dallas at all, but I don't even see Dallas lighting them up. I'm with you. I think it's well under 51. I think this game is actually, in a weird way, everyone is going to be focused on the two quarterbacks and say they decide everything here. I don't completely agree. I think these two defenses decide everything. And I tell you, the guy that will, if Dallas is to win, the guy that will have to play lights out will be Micah Parsons. He's the difference. If he can chase down Jalen Hurts, if he can box in Jalen Hurts and do what the 49ers did, if he can wreck that game, Dallas wins and Dallas covers pretty easily. That's my opinion.
Buy or freaking sell.
All right, final buy or sell. The trend of players sitting out of bowl games is unfair to the program and teammates. Buy or sell.
Selling that all day long. I mean, these guys have spent their entire careers, and I just love when they're in a big bowl game or in a conference title game. They got the nice mugshot up, and they've got their hometown, their height, their weight, their class, and then they put their major. But it's always something like youth and community studies or something like that. It's never football. Everybody majors in football. They spend more time on football than they do on any class. And so I think when you major in football and when it comes to time that your hard work is about to pay off and you don't want to risk injury in a meaningless bowl game because you're going to be a first or second round draft pick and then you're labeled selfish, I think that's unfair. Is it fair when a head coach goes into your mama's living room and says, I'm going to take care of your baby, and then 2 weeks after signing day, he bolts for another job and you're stuck having to navigate the portal at 18 years of age? Or back in the day when you had to be there for a year, even though the coach misled you, and knowing that he was interviewing for other jobs? That's the part that's not fair to me. The players have the power now, Jeff. Give them the respect they deserve, and if it's if it's a BC, like if it's a CFP, you got play in that thing. That is the ultimate. That's a championship. That's history. But if I'm getting ready to play in the Weed Eater Poulan Bowl, and I'm a first round draft pick, man, I'm not playing in it. Bijan Robinson and Roshan Johnson, DeMarvion Overshawn, they were ravaged on Twitter last year for skipping the Alamo Bowl. And I was all for them skipping that bowl game because those guys needed to get ready for their NFL careers. And poor DeMarvion still blew his knee out in training camp. But I think this is a instance where the kids should have that authority to make that call and do what's best for them and their families. I sell like crazy. I hate this statement. I hate when I hear people try to make this argument. I can't think of anything more narrow-minded, disconnected, and I think kind of discriminatory when old dudes start ranting about this. It is idiotic. Here's the example that I would try to give people. So, and I think, you know what I think? I think Caleb Williams, the minute the USC was out of the conference championship, he should have said, I'm done. He should have said, Absolutely. I'm done. I mean, there's the only reason, and here's the thing where I think people lose sight of stuff. First of all, most people have never been at the brink of being a star themselves. You don't get many chances to be a star. This is it for you. This is your only chance. One mistake and, you're not playing until you're 52.
You got a 3 to 5 year window at best, and you're crazy not to take advantage of it. And I argued with quite a few people about Caleb Williams when I said the kid should go shut it down. He should go tell his coach and say, you know what? I've done all I can here. I wish you guys well, but I can't take any more risk. I need to go train and get healthy. And I will promise you, if you polled his entire team, all of his teammates, they would say, I'd do the exact same thing, man. Go get what's coming to you. All those guys in that locker room, all of your opponents would say the same thing. Because all those guys know what goes into it, and they all know the margin of error and how short that shelf life is. And I think coaches do too. I think coaches are just selfish at times. But this is one of the most ridiculous criticisms of an athlete that I can think of. And not only do I think you should just bail if you think you're going to be taken in the NFL draft, I think you should bail even if it's a big bowl game. If you're not playing in the semifinal and you're going to be a first rounder next year, you're nuts if you play in one of those bowl games. Nuts.
Ask Jalen Smith. Ask Jalen Smith.
Right.
About that. I mean, he blew his knee out in the Orange Bowl, and now he's struggling to stay in the league because of an injury that happened in his last college game.
Right.
If someone came up to me and said, you know what, Sid, I'm going to give you $30 million, but you can't do buy or sell anymore, I would leave in the middle of this sentence.
Oh, yes. Oh, man, what a jackass. Man,
I just would. There's my moment of jackassery. I'm so out of here. You'd be like, man, that fat guy bailed on us. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he took the 30 mil.
Yeah, he did. It's but like I said, people will say, well, you can get hurt anywhere. You can go do a training session and get hurt. And what they need to realize, well, the guys have insurance. They only have insurance if their career is ruined, if it's catastrophic. They don't have insurance to cover a pulled hamstring that is not healthy come draft time. They don't have insurance that covers, a bad shoulder that comes up at a bowl game that drops them some. I mean, they get catastrophic insurance if they lose everything. So it's not worth the risk. I mean, your whole job, your whole livelihood, for most of them is determined on, one, how healthy they are come draft time and how fit they are come draft time. That's their job. That's their job.
Yep. That's right. And good on DeMarvion Overshawn. He blew his knee out, but he was an employee of the Dallas Cowboys when he did it.
Yep.
If he'd done it before then, he wouldn't have gotten drafted as high, and who knows where he'd be right now.
I can't tell you how many teammates that I've had that you realize, one, most of them are not going to make a team. But even if you do, you're most likely done with the thing you've been doing most of your life and been one of the best at. You're most likely done before you're 27. That's it.
True.
For most guys.
Small window.
I mean, and that's it. I mean, who wouldn't right now listening, if I said to you, you got 3 years, if you're lucky, you got 3 years to play your ass off and be as healthy and as fit as you can be to try to get that next contract. Because when you get that next contract, you're set for life. But you got 3 years.
The second one that matters.
That's right. You got 3 years to get there. And no one listening right now would run the risk of losing that. No one would. And I think it's mean-spirited to suggest otherwise. I really do. That sounded righteous, didn't it?
I liked it.
All right, man. As always, good stuff. Have a good weekend.
Later, brother.